Sheena, how are you today?
I'm well. Thank you so much for asking.
Well, thanks for coming on the show today. I'm excited to talk with you about The Deliverance of Amy Stronghold, a movie in which you are the star. First, let's just start with how would you summarize this film? So if somebody came to you and they're like, tell me about this movie, I want to watch it, and they don't know anything about it, not to put you on the spot, but how would you give them sort of the elevator pitch of what the film is about?
Wow. I'd say the movie is about a woman who's going through it. You think she starts off in a low point of her life, but it gets even lower. And it's just so surprising the predicament she gets herself into. So yeah, a woman who's going through it.
That's a great description. And it's so true what you're saying. I don't want to spoil the movie, but as you're watching, you see, I think as you're watching it, everyone has different issues they're facing or struggles, but how decisions we make or things that happen, even sometimes things out of our control, can really affect, your life in different ways, and how other people can actually be a voice in your life that can lead you down the wrong path or the right path, depending on who those people are. And so I know that might sound sort of nebulous or banal. People don't really understand. You got to watch the movie to really get it. But I think you gave a good little teaser there. What was it like for you coming into the role of Amy? I guess what attracted you to that role?
Wow. Another good question. What attracted me to the role? It's really difficult to say, but it was actually quite easy. When Seth and April told me about the role and they told me about their story, like it wasn't even the role in particular. It was Seth and April's story that kind of magnetized me to just wanting to work with them. Like whether or not I got the lead role to the movie didn't matter. It was like, do you guys need a production assistant? Because I just want to be a part of this project. Like you guys have a dream and I'm ready to like bring this dream to life. So
what part of their story was it that really kind of intrigued you?
Just the filmmaking story, kind of like making something out of nothing, just working with a community of people who the more you told the story to, they're like, yeah, I really like that. I want to see what I can do to support this. And 1 became 2 and 2 became 50, then 50 became 100. And it was just a lot of support, like a lot of genuine support. And that is what drawn me to it. Absolutely.
What did you learn, maybe even about yourself during the filming? Was there anything, because I would imagine when you're creating art, when you're acting, when you're pouring yourself into a character and this obviously, you're dealing with scenarios in which, there's real life inspiration per se for a story like this, but how did you sort of process that experience and what did you learn along the way?
I learned a lot. Like, how much time do we got? Like, I learned as much time as you want. So to start, I had a very complicated relationship with God. And Amy had a very complicated relationship with God. And that's how we related off the bat. It was like, even when I heard it was like a more Christian film, at first I thought, can I do this? And I thought it's not a big deal. Like, I can do this. It wasn't the bigger picture to me, but the more I said the lines, the more it was action. I was like really starting to relate. Like it was hard to differentiate between where Amy began and where I ended, because it was just so in tune with some of the struggles that I've been going through, like trying to literally ask, like, what are you doing to me right now, God? Like, is this really the plan? Like, but like, it's just it's like I didn't realize how much it started to affect me until literally the last take that we did. And it was through that last take, like when I started from that last take, I changed. Like I remember I was talking to Seth and April and Chief about like, I think I want to get baptized. Like, I think this is it. I think this is the time. Yeah. Like,
so
right.
This really deeply the experience of playing Amy. And that's so interesting. The parallels of what you were feeling, the struggle that we all face struggles, but that you actually got to a point at the end of this filming where you you realized, I have experienced a faith development, a faith change, and I want to get baptized.
Yes, I did. And I did. And the water was cold. But I did it. And I just felt like it was, there's a lot in the movie. There's a lot of people that tell Amy what she needs to do, whether it's positive or whether it's negative. And you find that in life. There's a lot of people that tell you how things need to get done and how you need to do it. But at the end of the day, when you look at yourself in the mirror or you lay your head down at night, wherever that might be, you only have you. So what is it that you're going to tell yourself? And it wasn't like someone was telling me, Sheena, you should get baptized, or Sheena, you should pray a little more. Or if you want something, Sheena, just ask God for it. Like, it's really not that complicated. I had to like really have sit downs with myself through the advice of others and be like, you know what? I think I'm going to try this. And I've been trying it. I've been trying it ever since. And so far, so good. Yeah.
So were you a Christian going into this film? Were you already a person of faith? You said you had a complicated relationship. I'm curious.
I went to Catholic school for 8 strong years of my life. So like religion was like imposed on me. I was like, I don't want anything to do with this when I was done. And when it was all said and done and over with it, I dabbled in church. Like I'd go in, and if it was a little too weird, I'd be like, I think I'm done. Whatever. I don't have to do this. Nothing. You see, just like Amy, right?
Right.
So when it's like, it got to a point where there was nothing in my way. There was nothing that was like, Sheena, you should go. Or it was just more like, I'm intrigued, and I'm intrigued on my own. Nobody's telling me to be intrigued. So I'd read a passage in the Bible and I'd be like, that kind of relates. Like it crazy relates to what I'm dealing with right now. Like, oh, interesting. And I got more intrigued and more curious. And then it all just literally fell together. Like
it's so interesting to me. And you're also, I mean, you're watching, and I don't want to give the whole plot line away, but you're watching, you're portraying this character, and every day you're doing that, and you're filming and you're working on this movie, and you're seeing how God is connecting and working in that character's life. And all of us are going through different journeys, right? And so then your own personal journey, it's so fascinating to me again that sort of coincided, right? The character development with your personal faith development.
Yeah.
And so you walk away. How long after filming, or was it during filming, that you got baptized?
Oh, it was like all throughout the month of October that we filmed 2019. I got baptized November 11th.
Wow.
I remember it specifically. It was right after filming, and it was November 11th. It was a very, and I don't know why that day, but like the more that I think about it, I was like, oh my gosh, maybe this is serendipitous because I'm a veteran. November 11th is Veterans Day. And it had a lot of significance to me, amongst other things, like the time, whenever I see 11/11, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's my day.
So you're a veteran too. Your story is so fast. Like we could talk about that in a second too, but wow. So you get baptized, and how would you say that complicated relationship that you have with God, how has that changed or developed or grown since late 2019?
It's gotten to, this is super complicated, to I'm kind of interested on what's going on, to man, it's not that complicated at all. Like it's really not. So there's some days I'm in my car and something great happens. Like I'm driving and I think a red light's coming, but it's actually a green light. I'm like, okay, God, look at you looking. Okay. Like, I'm just so excited. Like
when it's part of your life.
Yeah. So I thank him at every instance. I'm like, okay, I see what you're doing here. I see this learning experience, and all right, I'll entertain this, I guess. Other times when it's really hard, that I have to like stop myself from blaming, like going from a place of like, why would you do this to me? Like my car got stolen in December.
Oh goodness. Oh wow.
Yes. So I was like, I came from a place like, why is this happening to me? Into, I'm going to let this go. There is literally nothing I can do about this. This is out of my control. And I say this like right now, but this was in the span of like 2 weeks where I was just like, okay.
And in the midst of COVID, I mean, like then you have the whole COVID chaos. So you get baptized, you take faith much more seriously. You end up a couple months later in the midst of the craziest time that hopefully we will have in our lives. Hopefully we're coming out of the craziest time we will have as a culture and a world. So there's a lot going on. Then your car gets stolen. So you're thinking, God, why? Yeah. But you rethought that and you sort of, put it in perspective, it sounds like.
Yeah, I tried my best. I was like, you know what? There has to be another way to do this. There's a way that when you do something so many times and you're looking for a different result, like that's insanity. So I was like, okay, something needs to change. So I remember messaging April, like, why is this happening to me? And she referred to me some Bible verses and I opened up the Bible. I did a little bit of journaling, had a little heart to heart. And then there was just one day where I was just like, there's nothing I could do. And that's okay that I don't have control, 110% control of my life. You can't, not all the time.
Well, and it's interesting because you're talking about a couple of fascinating things here. You're connecting with the crew behind this movie that you were in, and they're helping you. That you're getting Bible verses. You're connecting with them, and you kind of go back to this whole we can't control everything. We don't know what God's plan is, and God's plan can be complicated, and he will use things that happen that he didn't make happen, but that people have chosen, or things that have unfolded in our lives to do different things. You probably couldn't have imagined that you were going to enter into doing this film and walk away a few weeks later getting baptized and having this faith experience, right? But he may have probably did use that film to reach you in that way. So we just don't know what's going on half the time, right?
I think about that often. I'm like, because when I needed to, from where I was living to me meeting Seth in April, I didn't own a car then. I had to rent a car. So I ran out of my way. I remember sitting down with my husband like, hey, this is a little out the way. And I think I really want to do this. I think I'm going to rent a car. And he was like, oh, he was surprised. Like, I mean, if you want to, yeah, I think you should do that. I rented a car and I drove like 30, 40 miles out just to see them. And it was just pleasant ever since. Like every day of filming was the best day of filming. And it's usually not like that. Some days are harder than others. But when I tell you every day of filming was the best day of filming, like.
So I love your story. And so you mentioned that you're a veteran too. How long did you serve? 8.5 years. Wow.
Yeah.
I would imagine there were a lot of lessons in there as well in life. Well, thank you first of all, because I know that's such a amazing commitment that people make. That's incredible. What was that experience like for you? How did that change your life serving?
The military kind of whipped me into shape. Like it kind of just made me more structured. It also taught me a lot about control as well. Like there's just certain things that I can't do. And sometimes I have to trust that the person above me or below me is going to get the job done. But I'm grateful for the military. I'm grateful for all that it taught me, all that I've gotten to see and the relationships that I made. Like it's been great.
So how does one go then? Because now I'm really interested in the acting thing, right? So maybe it was always a passion for you. Take me through that, how you kind of went from, you served, you're in military for almost a decade, and then you go into the arts, you go into entertainment. What led you there?
Wow. The first time I decided to do some acting was in drama club in high school, and it was going great. I had a piece and I memorized it, and I was working with my acting teachers. But when it was time for me to present that piece to judges, I froze up. Like I could not deliver the piece. And I was dealing with my mother passing away. Like very recently she passed away. So I remember having like a panic attack and not being able to do the piece at all. And then I just tucked that into the back of my mind, I was like, okay, that happened.
And it's one of those bad memories too, where it's like, am I ever going to want to do that again? I would imagine. I mean, that's how it is for me when things like that happen. It's like, oh, I don't know if I ever want to touch that again.
Exactly. So left that, graduated high school, did a little college, worked a little bit, joined the military. 8.5 years later, I got my bachelor's in transportation and logistics management. Everything was going great until I decided, wow, I want to go back to school again. But the world was my oyster. With the GI Bill, I could literally do anything. So then I thought, oh my gosh, I should act. And it felt so crazy. And because it felt so crazy, I was like, wow, maybe I should. And right around that time was when I got accepted. I've got a letter right in front of my day job in logistics. I'm just sitting there doing my job, and I got an email saying, hey, you got accepted to the Seattle Film Institute. I was like, oh my gosh.
Wow.
I'm going to film school.
Which, by the way, your job seems like polar opposite from acting. Like that.
Yeah, it was just very linear. And it didn't serve me. The job was great. I was doing pretty good at it, but it just didn't serve me. It didn't give me that feeling that, it's kind of like a cheese Danish in the middle. It's like, when cheese Danish, everything's delicious. But when you get to that center, that's what makes it. I didn't have that center.
Yeah, you just can't get there. You're always in the crust, and you're like, I guess this is okay, but you're not. Yeah, and so acting for you, and I want to go back to that experience in high school too, because a lot of times something like that happens and we're kind of stunted from it and we never move forward into that thing, even if that's something that God has for us, because we have that bad memory of it or we're not really trusting. And yet you went back to it. You went to school for it sounds like, and now you're doing it. That's pretty amazing.
Thank you.
That is pretty amazing.
It was just, I'm glad I had that heart to heart with myself. And I took the plunge because, it's just, that's all it boils down to. Just talking to yourself and realizing this thing I'm going to do is scary, but I just have to remember the big picture that I really wanted to do this. And every day I get every day I question myself, is this really what you want to do? And I'm like, yes, it really is. So yeah.
Well, that's amazing. So as we round out to the end here, when it comes to the Deliverance of Amy Stronghold, what is it that you're hoping viewers take away from the movie? What are some of the lessons you're hoping they will walk away and say, wow, that was powerful?
I think we're all going through something, and the severity differs. There's some people that feel like they're going through something and it's the end of the world, and it's their world. So potentially it could very well be just your most lowest point. But eventually, like Amy, you're going to reach the bottom. And it'll probably get lower than that. But to say that it'll get better seems so callous, and it'll get better doesn't necessarily mean everything will be solved in a day. It's to say that maybe we're paying attention to the wrong things. Maybe we need to really dial in and figure out step by step, what is it that we need right now, and just start from there. What do you need right now? Do you need to take a breath? Do you need a couple of more hours of sleep? Because sometimes that boils down to it too. Have a glass of water, go out with a friend, turn your phone off or something, whatever you need to do. Play some video games. I play video games. Whatever you need to do for right now, and then just start from there. What can I do tomorrow? I can have a big breakfast. I can have lunch. I can have a cheese Danish. You can probably tell I'm hungry.
Sounds pretty good right now. I love
right?
I think that's great. There's always hope, right? And it may mean, like you were saying, that it's going to be a struggle. It may not be easy. It may not be solved right away, but you can always cling to hope. And you see that with your character in the film. And I love hearing your story. I appreciate you sharing it with us today. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. This was really nice.
You back. Yeah, we'll have to have you back again sometime soon. Really appreciate it.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be here.